Howdy, this is your Professor David Britt coming to you today from the campus at Charleston Southern University. I'm here this week for our annual faculty kickoff meeting, and I got here a little bit early and the sun hasn't even come up yet. And so I thought I would give you a preview of Module 1 since the first day of class starts this coming Monday, okay? Hopefully many of you have already been in the course. You've gone through all the tutorial information in Module 0. You've clicked the mark reviewed on each one of those so that the rest of the modules 1 through 7, have opened up for you so you're able to see those. If you haven't, make sure that you go in and finish all of Module 0 and the tutorials there so that you'll be able to view Modules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I'm focused on is the very first week is Module 1. Now, we use the word module here, and it's synonymous with lesson, with week. So Module 1, Lesson 1, Week 1, all mean the same thing. We just happen to use module here. And so the courses are 7 weeks long, so we have 7 modules. So you need to focus this week, starting Monday, on Module 1. And what I wanted to do is just go through the different elements that you'll be seeing in Module 1 this week and kind of give you some expectations as to what you're going to be doing. All right? So we have numbering on this, and so you'll see in Module 1, 1.4.1, read and study. So this will tell you the things that you need to make sure that you read and the things that you will study this week that will prepare you to deliver what you need to deliver before the week is over, okay? So 1.4.1 is read and study, and what you're going to be doing this week is reading 3 chapters from your textbook, chapters 1, 2, and 3. You're going to be in chapter 1 reading about writing myths. There are things out there that just quite frankly aren't true about writing these days. And then chapter 2 will be about different situations, purposes, and processes for writing. And then chapter 3, it talks about observing and remembering. I think this is probably, 40 pages or so. And so those will be the things that you have to make sure that you read to give you a foundation for the different things that will be expected this week. And then in your APA book, 1.4.2, you need to read chapter 1. And that serves as an introduction to APA and the different elements of APA. And then 1.4.3 is a lecture, a PowerPoint turned into a PDF lecture that I created that talks about one of the key concepts from the readings this week, and that is the rhetorical situation. Now, that's kind of a fancy schmancy type of phrase, and but I'm sure all of you have heard about rhetoric, right? And so rhetoric means using language effectively. And that can be written language, that can be verbal language, it can even be nonverbal language. And I think we all want to do that, right? Regardless of whether we're talking with our spouse, we're talking with a coworker, or we're presenting something to a group of people. We want to make sure that the things that we're doing, saying, showing, demonstrating are effective. And that's all part of the rhetorical situation, which is the rhetorical situation is simply the context of your, in this example, writing. And so we want to make sure that you're focused on those because there are 4 components of the rhetorical situation. There is the writer, right? I mean, depending on who you are, will depend on how you present things. So the writer as part of the rhetorical situation is an important part. The occasion, why are you writing this? Which is purpose, which is the 3rd component. And then finally, last but not least, the audience. If you don't have a good grasp on your audience, then I would doubt very seriously if your communication is going to be as effective as it should be. So you have the writer, the occasion, the purpose, and the audience, all parts of the rhetorical situation. And then you also have in 1.4.4 an lecture over the APA materials as well. And that will talk about plagiarism, that'll talk about citations, it'll talk about direct quotes versus paraphrase. Just to give you a hint, I'm not very big at all on direct quotes. All that shows me is that a student knows how to use the copy-paste function of Microsoft Word, okay? I'm much more interested that you take what your source has said and you paraphrase it. You put it into words that demonstrate to me and the other readers that you understand the topic and that you can apply the sources materials to your key points going forward. So all of that is covered in that lecture as well. And then 1.4.5 is just a link over to the CSU online library and their articles on plagiarism and different things. So I encourage you to make sure that you take a look at those, because that'll be helpful on your short quiz that you have at the end of the week. And then finally, this all leads up to deliverables. And by deliverables, we simply mean what you got to do and submit to me before the end of the week, okay? So 1.5.1 is the first deliverable, and that is a discussion board introduction. Now, you are to give an introduction that has enough information about you so that the reader can get to know you a bit, because chances are you're going to have some of the same students in different classes throughout the degree program. So it's nice to get to know them. And so here's how these work. You need to make sure that you have an initial post. Now, you're not going to be able to view anybody else's posts until you post one yourself, okay? So you may be in there and you're thinking, wow, I'm the first one in. Chances are you may not be, because you're not going to see someone else's post until you submit yours. And the initial post for each of the discussion boards in all 7 modules is due by Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. Everything else in the course is due Sunday night, 11:59, except the initial discussion board post. All right? And then you'll do one initial post, and then you need to make sure that you do a minimum of 2 response posts to students, other students' posts, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be a student. If I happen to be in the discussion board and I make a post, you can respond to me, and that counts as well. You can respond twice to the same person, that counts. Just a minimum of 2 response posts that will be due by Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. The second discussion board, 1.5.2, talks about why in the world should we focus on research and writing. And so I want to make sure that you're thinking very deeply about this so that you understand that this is just not an exercise that we're trying to waste 3 hours of 3 credit hours in this degree program. We thought long and hard about making sure that we did this, and to set the stage. I talked about that a little bit in my welcome video, so I won't go over that again. But that is the second discussion board. Now, in future weeks, you're only going to have 4 things, because you're only going to have 1 discussion board each week. The first week you have a introduction, which is a little bit different. Okay? And then 1.5.3 is a short answer where I ask you to talk about the rhetorical situation, and you just answer the questions that I've posed there. Make sure you're detailed on those. 1.5.4 is your first writing exercise. Now, this one's going to be pretty easy for you from a grading perspective, because I'm asking you to give me a writing sample. So you have a question in there, and I'm asking you to write a paper on it. And then we're going to use that paper each week, so that in week 2, we're going to adjust it week 3, all the way to week 7, so that when you get finished in week 7, you're going to be able to see the difference in your writing style, your support, your research, your format, your APA, and all those things from week 7 compared to week 1. And then finally, 1.5.5 is a very short quiz test that will go over plagiarism for you. Okay? Just wanted to remind you, again, due dates: first discussion board post, initial discussion board post, Thursday night, 11:59. Everything else in the course due Sunday night at 11:59. All right, first day of class is Monday, and I've already had some students who set up some time with me to take me up on my offer of reviewing the course with them. So if you want to do that, please reach out and contact me with some available dates and your phone number, and I'll get back to you, and we will connect on the phone. All right? Well, I hope you have a great week, and remember, class starts Monday. Take care.